No one cares, Jeannie Reiser thought, astounded. She was living in a nightmare, screaming for help with no one seeming to hear her. She held the phone away from her head and stared at it, incredulous. Maybe it wasn't working. Maybe the person on the other end of the line in St. Louis literally hadn't heard her. "I don't think you understand, Sergeant," she said, struggling to stay calm. "My daughter is missing. I need to file a missing persons report. I need you to do something." "How long did you say it's been since you heard from her?" 3 days, but—" "And your daughter is how old?" 18, but—" "She's a legal adult, ma'am." "She's just 18, Jeannie said. "She's a freshman at SLU. She calls me every day. If not every day, every other day," she corrected herself. "I didn't hear from her on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. She would never not call me on a holiday." The cop on the other end of the line was unmoved. "It's not against the law not to call your mother, ma'am." Jeannie wanted to reach through the telephone all the way to St. Louis and slap him. Tears rose up in her eyes. Fear rose up in her throat. She knew what he was thinking, that she was an overprotective mother, that she was being ridiculous. An 18-year-old college girl living in the big city, out from under her mother's thumb for the first time in her life, was probably out partying with her friends, having fun, or sleeping it off. She was probably more likely not to call her mother just to prove her independence. He was probably thinking girls gone wild. He didn't know her daughter. He didn't know their relationship. He didn't know their family. On the table in front of her, photos from Christmas lay scattered like playing cards. They had tried hard to have a happy holiday, their first since Dean had lost his battle with cancer. But there had been more sad moments than happy ones. Too many memories that, at this stage of grief, brought more pain of loss than remembered joy. Unwilling to take the one-too emotional punch of back-to-back holidays without her dad, her daughter had decided to go back to St. Louis early, to spend New Year's with her new friends from school. When Jeannie didn't hear from her daughter during the evening on New Year's Eve, she hadn't really worried about it. The kids would be going out, heading to a party. When no call came on New Year's Day, she tried to talk herself out of the fear that was beginning to stir inside her. New Year's Eve parties meant New Year's Day hangovers, or just sleeping the day away. When no call had come by evening of New Year's Day, every rationalization that began to form in her mind was quickly cut off by her growing panic. Calls to her daughter's cell phone had gone directly to voicemail, her daughter's happy, giggling voice telling callers she would get back to them as soon as she could. And when the mailbox filled with Jeannie's increasingly frantic messages, only the anonymous voice of the phone company answered her, informing her that there was no more room for her pleas to be recorded than called back as soon as possible. "Have you spoken to any of your daughter's friends?" Jeannie had been so lost in her own thoughts she startled at the voice. "Her roommate is out of the country." On a cruise someplace warm with her family. Which cruise line? What islands? She couldn't remember. "Have you gone to your daughter's apartment?" "I'm in Wichita. I'm 7 hours away. Can't you send someone to check on her at least?" she asked, already knowing that even if he said yes, she was going to pack a bag and leave for St. Louis herself the minute she got off the phone. "What if she fell in the bathtub or something?" she said, the panic rising like a flood tide within her. "What if she's sick? Can't you please send someone to check on her?" The man on the other end of the line breathed a long sigh, like a teenager being asked for the 10th time to take out the garbage. "Does your daughter have a medical condition?"